All right, welcome to the Phēnyx Lounge, where we are building a community centered around fitness, wellness, and mindset. We're curating a list of teachers, experts, and influencers to share their pro tips for staying healthy and learning how to rise again in all aspects of life. So if you hear any gems, be sure to hashtag Phēnyx Athletica and tag us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm your host, Money Madu, and I'm excited to bring you guys episode 2 of the Phēnyx Lounge with Almost Perfect. And so Arrow, he's the owner of Almost PerFit Fitness, which is a boutique personal training studio. He's a degreed and certified personal trainer and a nutrition coach. And he's also a Pro Natural Physique champion. Was that 2018?
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, that was my TBT today.
Right. So yeah, I'm excited to have Arrow on today, and going to be happy to kind of hear about his story and just let him share the obstacles that he's overcome. So, great guy. He's one of the guys that, when I was starting Phēnyx out, he was a brand ambassador in a sense, took a few pictures in our gear. And from there, he's kind of glad to have him on and be a part of the show. So, Arrow, if you wanted to give a little bit of background, just how you grew up and things like that for the audience to kind of understand about you.
Yeah, and thanks for that intro, bro. Like, I still wear the Phēnyx gear. I still have it. I still wear it. It's good material. Thank you for that. But it's a long story, man. Where do I start? I think a lot of questions that I get when I'm out and about, people always say stuff like, you used to play football. Like, No, I played football like up until the 9th grade. I actually sucked at sports. Like, I never was coordinated. Like, so early on in fitness, I didn't see this. Like, if you would have told me this at 15, I would have been like, bullshit. Like, cause I wasn't like a very coordinated athletic person growing up. Fitness for me, interestingly enough, started right after high school. Right after high school, I started working in the penitentiary. Like, I started working in like the real like jail. So I'm 18 years old. I'm working in this jail, and dudes in the jail were like huge. And I'm a kid, and I'm telling people, I'm an officer. Like, I'm a corrections officer. That's my job. And I was just like, man, these guys are huge, and they were getting really big in an environment where people couldn't take away from how big they had got with like steroids. It wasn't one of those things where people could just be like, oh, this guy's on steroids. So, there ain't no steroids. It's a damn jail. So like, they were literally working out. And I would see guys come in, and when they would come in, they would be small. And when they would leave, huge gorillas. And I used to be like, man, like, it could be, I would see people transform in a matter of like 6 months, like 3 months, 4 months. And I wanted that. Like, as an 18-year-old working in that kind of environment, I was just like, I want to get big like this. So I started asking around. I started asking the guys that were incarcerated, what they were doing. And before we started the podcast, we started with I was telling you about the push-ups. And I think whenever I tell somebody they need to get to where they're doing like 1,000 push-ups, it's fucking crazy. Like, doing 1,000 push-ups just seems so ridiculous. But you got guys in the penitentiary that's busting down at 2,500 push-ups a day, 5,000 a day, 7 days a week, no rest. And that's where it started for me. And I started with the push-ups. My first weight bench came from the dumpster. Like, I started at a place where working out where I'm like a lot of other people, where I wasn't comfortable going to the gym, like, and working out in front of a whole bunch of people. I just thought that it was intimidating, even though like I was in that environment most of my workday. Going to the gym was still an intimidating thing. So I by chance came across a weight bench that was in the trash around tax time. I drug it in the apartment, and then that's when I started like lifting weights. And sequentially, I grew to what I am now from that weight bench that I drug up to my apartment at 19. And
so with that, did you find what about the actual weights in itself? How'd you go about getting those?
So it started at that weight bench. And then from the weight bench, I think probably like 19, 20. That's when I got a gym membership. So it's such a long story. I was going through a breakup, and after the breakup, I felt really down. Like, it was a breakup. Fuck, like, breakup's gonna make this, the breakup suck. But I found that I was insecure in my body. You know, like, I didn't like how I looked with my shirt off, and I had to be real with myself about that. I didn't like being skinny. I'm what they call an ectomorphic, so I'm naturally like a skinny guy. Mm-hmm. Some people endomorphic, naturally a bigger guy, and then I would say you are like a mesomorphic person. You got real good genetics. Like, it's perfect. That's a great position to be in. Me being ectomorphic, I'm a skinny guy. It's harder for me to gain muscle. So I always just accepted that as my condition. Like, I was just like, well, I'm just going to be a skinny guy. And then going through that breakup, I was just like, you know what, fuck that. Like, I want to, whatever it takes for me to be what I see in the mirror that I'm proud of, if I could work my way into it, if I could be patient and just really just will my way into this body, then I'm willing to do it. So I walked into Fitness Connection in Greenspoint. That was the first gym membership that I had. And I just watched, bro, like, I'm a student of this. Like, so I would go in, I see a guy like from around the way, like around the gym with huge arms. I'd be like, I want arms like that. So I transitioned from this thought process of just push-ups, just pull-ups that I had learned working in the prison to, okay, this guy over here with these big arms, he's doing bicep curls with like 60s. So, but I would look at the 60 and be like, fuck that, I can't do 60. So I started like 20. And the goal would be to work my way up to the weight that these guys were using. And then that's when it all clicked. I was just like, for the most part, people that look a certain type of way are doing the same things. Like, to have that muscle, to have that aesthetic, you have to have a certain kind of strength. It's a natural like correlation between the two things. So whenever I would see somebody, and I'd be like, those are impressive shoulders. What is he doing? Like, and it went from me looking to get more comfortable and asking, and then learning. And that's a process that it never stopped. Like, I'm still learning. Like, you learn different things for your body based on what other people are doing, what works best for you, and you build your body from there. And that was the epiphany that led to me being like where I'm at right now with my aesthetic.
Gotcha. And so with that, I got two questions that go to that. So when you were in the gym earlier on and asking these questions, was it something where, you know, some of the guys were like, nah, why are you talking to me? Like, I'm sitting here trying to work out. Like,
a lot of them told me to fuck off. Like, they were just like, man, I'm working out. Like, it was that's why I am the way I am now. Like, in the gym, so people wouldn't know, but I'm super approachable. Like, if you got questions about working out, I love to help people because I couldn't get a lot of help in the beginning. People, like you said, which I understand, like, they're in a rush, shit, they trying to get their workout done. I'm some kid, I don't look serious, like, I don't have the aesthetic, like, they don't want to be bothered, you know, with me and my questions of thousands of questions that I would have about what it is that they're doing. So yeah, they would shoot me off. And once I got to a certain size and people started, and that's another thing, I don't solicit like my help. Like, in the gym, even though I'm a trainer, I'm not the guy that goes up to somebody, hey, you doing that wrong. Like, right. Oh, you should, your farm stuff. Like, I'm not that dude. Like, I wait until people come and ask me. But once they ask me, man, you just made a friend, because I'm going to give you the whole history on what it is that you're trying to do. And yes, people, fuck no, they were not trying to help me at all, like, in the beginning. And we didn't have YouTube the way they have it now. I'm 34, so this is like 2005, 2006. Like, no, like, the access to information wasn't the same as it is now.
Right. And so number two, so you were able to, in a sense, you know, find the people that were able to, you know, actually be approachable and answer your questions. Do you think that, you know, supplements played a big role as far as like getting bigger and stuff like that?
In the beginning, yes. In the beginning, when in Rome, you just do what everybody else doing. Like, so I had the whey protein, I had the BCAA, I had the multivitamin. I had the pre-workout. Pre-workout, that's another thing. Pre-workout changed my life. But I had the whey protein, the BCAAs, everything that you can think of in the supplement store that they sell you. I was willing to take it to get bigger. Yeah. And I put on pre-workout changed a lot though, because I was working late, and I was working late, and I would drink like a Monster or a Red Bull when I would get off of work to kind of power up to get through my workout. And one guy came up to me, was like, "Man, why are you drinking that? Why you just don't take pre-workout? That has a lot of sugar in it." At the time in working out, I wasn't as versed as I am now in nutrition. So I was like, sugar, so what? Like, I didn't know like what sugar. I didn't know anything about that. So he put me on this pre-workout called Jacked 3D, and they don't sell it anymore. You heard of it before?
I've heard of it before, but I never.
Yeah, that was legal crack. Like, he gave it to me, and I instantly, after I worked 12 hours a day, I never forget. I worked 12 hours, and I took that shit, and I was in the gym for like 4 hours at night, and I was like, man, this is magic. So that was like pre-workout for sure. All the other stuff I was just using because everybody else was using. The work that I was putting in the gym allowed me to get a lot of size. I was eating back then, like I was eating just to eat. Because I was a hard gainer, all I would hear from people when I asked them like how to get big, they'd be like, you need to eat more, you need to eat more. So I used to gorge on food, fast food, you name it. Like I just was just eating. So I put on a lot of size, and I kind of like at the time, I gave that to the supplements. I was like, maybe it's because I'm taking these supplements. And then one conversation in the sauna changed everything. A guy, for real, like my whole workout journey has been a series of like by chance like conversations that I have with random people. I'm in the sauna one day, and this guy, he had just came back from like a tour in Iraq, and I'm taking my whey protein, and he was just like, "You still do that shit?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And he was just like, "I don't do that." He was huge, and I was just like, "What do you mean you don't do that?" He was just like, "I don't do that. Like, you don't need to do that shit. They just selling you something. Like, if you eating enough, you don't need the whey protein." And I was like, "Well, how you feel about BCAAs?" He was like, "I don't do nothing. I don't do any of that. Like, I just eat." So at that time, I think it was around the time I was getting ready to go back to college. So my funds were low. Like, buying supplements had already become like this is gonna impact me financially. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just like, one day I was just like, you know what? After having that conversation, I was like, I'm not gonna buy the supplements. Let's just see what happens. Like, I'm gonna give it a week, as if I was gonna see some kind of change in a week. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, it don't look like shit changed. I kept the pre-workout, but all the other shit I got rid of. And 1 week turned into 2 weeks, and then here I am. I don't do supplements. Like, they are supplements, right? Like, they are supplemental to things that you're not getting in your regular diet. But if you attack your regular diet in a specific way for whatever aesthetic goal or strength goal that you have, you don't need a lot of those supplements. And like more recently, they have a lot of papers about BCAAs and like the ineffectiveness of BCAAs, like the branched chain amino acids that people are getting from supplementation compared to the branched chain amino acids that you get in just eating regular meat. It ain't shit. Like, it's kind of like they started off with the whey protein. Whey protein is great. Like, whey protein is great if you can't get in your meals. But the BCAAs, jury's still out on that, you know, on the BCAAs. So yeah, like, I don't do a lot of supplements, none of that. Just the pre-workout. Like, I swear by caffeine.
Yeah, it's funny because like I think I've taken pre-workout. So my fitness journey kind of started in my senior year of high school, like last semester, senior year. I think I tried to bench. I was benching what 25s on each side, and that was a struggle.
95 pounds. Yeah.
But man, I want to say my freshman year of college, you know, I started taking pre-workout. Man, I can't even tell you what the brand was. Super Punch maybe, or something like that.
Super Punch? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And man, I just knew that I just needed to use the restroom a lot, and I was like, I don't need this. I don't need this at all. And so, you know, luckily for me, just my genetics, I'm able to be bigger, so I don't really have to take as many supplements. Like I gain weight easily. For me, all I'm trying to do honestly is sculpt and lean out. And
Okay.
so, supplements, I rarely take them. If someone recommends something, I might do it for like a week or two, and I'm like, I don't feel like paying more for it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how, at least from a professional, how that kind of works out supplement wise.
Yeah. With and it's like fast forward into like when I started competing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a natural like fitness competitor, so I knew that we would get like tested for steroids. Like it was real important for me when I got into competing that it was a natural thing, because I want to know like what the fuck can I do? Like, you know what I mean? Like nothing against guys who do take steroids or take supplements, nothing against those guys at all. They have to work hard. But for me personally, it was more about like what can I accomplish with just my background in nutrition, like my background, because I started competing as a trainer with a business. So I kind of wanted to put my science to the test on myself, like my own applicable. I wanted to apply my science to myself to see exactly like what it is that I could do with it. So I was kind of in the dark about if we could do anything as natural competitors. So it's kind of like I don't want to do any supplementation at all, even through this process of getting ready. And then they drug test us and they like, well, we see you've been taking BCAAs. Like, get the fuck out.
Right.
Like, nah, I didn't want that. So I was scared. So I was just like, nah, just caffeine for me, bro. Like, so, yeah, but that's funny what you said about the pre-workout making you use the bathroom. That, man, like I got homeboys and we tease them now. As soon as they take their pre-workout, it's straight to the bathroom. It's like,
right.
But once you get past that, it's smooth sailing.
Gotcha. So whenever, when you were you started off with fitness, did you ever think that you would turn out to become like a fitness trainer or like a nutrition coach?
No. For me, it was more about, working in that jail. It was more about looking strong, because it's if you look a certain kind of way, you don't have as many problems. Like that's how prison works. Like you look a certain kind of way, you look like a problem, you don't have that many problems. So I just wanted to look and feel strong. Like that was the beginning of working out for me. So I never saw training as an avenue. People would suggest like, hey man, why don't you train? I like working out by myself. Like, so I would always close that door. What happened was I went back to college late. Like I got my associate's degree at like 26, because from corrections, I was going to go into law enforcement, and you needed like 60 credit hours. So I went and I got an associate's degree. And then I was just like, well, I got 2 more years. Like if I just go ahead and finish out this bachelor's, then I could go into HPD, I think at the time. And it was like incentive pay having like a bachelor's degree. And that was always something I wanted to finish anyway. So going back to school, I was looking for a job that was flexible. Like I needed like flexibility in my schedule. And training just seemed like a good avenue to go down. Like I could make my own schedule, even working in the gym. So I had a roommate at the time, and he had got into training. And he kind of told me like what needed to be done, like what kind of certification I needed to get into training. And I took a certification test and I didn't study, and I failed it like a motherfucker. Like I thought I knew everything about fitness. And that first time you had to pay to take this certification thing. Or, you know how it is, like school, everybody broke. So I spent like my last money paying for the certification test, and I failed. And I was heartbroken because I thought I knew everything. But I was like, you know what? This ain't the first time you done fell on your ass. You got to figure it out, retake this test, because there's something in being a personal trainer and having that flexibility that's going to get you through these last 2 years of school. So I went back, I took it, I was happy as hell. I passed it, and then I got into training for that. But even still, once I got the job the next day, I started working at 24-hour fitness in Atascocita. Started working. I like what I was doing, but I had no intention of being a trainer after college. Like after college, I wanted to give me nice, steady state job, like roll over the state time I had from working in the prison. And, you know, just real cool, like chill, like profession. So I graduated and I was a kinesiology major. So I went into kinesiology because I was like, oh, if I'm going to finish these 2 years, I might as well go to school for something that I'm interested in. Like, at least I learned about like the study of like movement and the human body through kinesiology is something I'm interested in. I stay engaged. Graduated thinking I was going to just transition into like a cushy like state job. It didn't happen. I couldn't find a job. Like, I couldn't find a job. And that's when I really like hit rock bottom, like financially, because now here I am with this bachelor's degree, and the plan was to get out of school, get a job, ball out. Like, I thought everything was gonna be, I was ready, like right after graduation, but it didn't happen like that. And I was at the park with my daughter, and at the time, my daughter now is 14. At the time, she probably was, I don't know, like maybe like 10. And she running around the park having a good time. And I was on the phone with a friend, and we were talking, and I'm watching my daughter run around the park. And I was just like, she's having a good time, but she doesn't know that this is really all we can afford right now. You know, and I was just like, something like snapped in my mind. And I was like, fuck this. Like, okay, school is done. You've been training now for about 2.5 years. Let's take the show on the road. Like, we're not getting paid enough where we are currently. Let's take the show on the road. So I started training in the park, like outside of the gym. And then from training in the park outside the gym, I transitioned to training inside my apartment complex, like in their gym. Then from there, I got a little space, bought some equipment off of Craigslist, and just kept growing. Like, so that was like 5 years ago. Just kept growing, like pushing the needle, like just kept on moving the chain.
So for someone that is trying to become a personal trainer, you know, with some of the stuff that obviously you've experienced, like what type of advice would you give someone trying to get started in that?
I think working in the gym definitely was a experience in learning professionalism, like already having, because at the gym, they already have it laid out, like how you're supposed to do your job. And you're going to have somebody manage you on how you're supposed to do your job. You kind of go through the trial and error process. Yeah, a lot of guys just jump out there. They think they know fitness, and they just start training people. And I think that's great. You can still help somebody with that knowledge. But that structure was really good for me. Like, it was really good for me in helping me understand that I'm taking somebody from point A to point B. People are coming to me and they're paying me money because there is a bridge between where they currently are and where they want to be. And it's a shaky ass bridge, and they're looking for the person that can give them the clearest path, like through this bridge. For me, going in and working in commercial fitness gave me a little bit more education, like on helping people understand I'm the safest bridge that they have from that point that they are right now to across this shaky ass bridge, because it's a shaky ass bridge. I got a lot of tools in commercial fitness. So I would say start there. Like, even if it's for like a month or so, just start at working at a gym and learn the ropes there first.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I kind of relate that to just having like a job, right? Like, a lot of people, they want to kind of work for themselves, and that's fine and that's dandy, but sometimes it's better to, whether it's for a year or two, learn under someone else that's doing what you're doing. That way you can kind of understand and learn some of the small intricacies to, you know, be able to navigate the realm, and from there, then you can branch off and do things on your own. Cause that's pretty much me right now. You know, I've been out of the corporate world in this sense since November of last year. But before then,
Okay.
like, I always knew that I wasn't going to be working for someone, you know, for very long. But it finally made that transition back in November. But, you know, I do know that I'm not anti-job, just because I know that you can learn so much from someone else first before you branch out on your own.
Yeah, apprenticeship. Like, people gotten away from that old thing that people have been doing for millennia. Like, apprenticeship. Like, it was a lot of trainers. Cardell Baldwin, Sid Sheen. man, there was a lot of dudes that I started training under that taught me all kind of shit that I still use today, like doing like circumference measurements and writing out workouts. Like all of these things I learned from somebody that wasn't in my certification class. Like I couldn't have learned that. I had a fitness manager, Alfonso, when I first started, he was the one that told me, because I had never trained anybody. I just got my certification, went in, hey, I need a job. And he was like, all right, cool. But when they gave me my first client, I didn't know what the fuck to do with my first client. Like, I was just, this lady, like, she want to do this, she want to do that. I've never trained as a lady before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. And he was just like, man, this was perspective that he gave me, and I always took it with me. He was just like, you're a mechanic, and people are coming to you to fix their car. He was like, sure, as a mechanic, you may know that you're dealing with somebody that can fix their own car. And it may take them like the whole weekend to do whatever job they're coming to you for. Make sure that when they come to you, you can get that shit done in like 4 to 8 hours, as opposed to their whole weekend. You should have more knowledge than they have to get it done in 4 to 8 hours. That's it. Like it's a convenience thing. Yeah, they might be smart and they might know enough about working out to have a conversation with you about working out, but they not a trainer. They coming to you for you to figure all that shit out for them. So they come into your shop and you fix their car and you send them on about their way. And that made shit easy from that day forward. Like, so just little things like that you pick up from these informal like mentors, you know, along the way with a job. I think that's some valuable shit.
So with that, I want to kind of get into obviously the story where, you know, fitness has helped you overcome a certain obstacle. Like, I know you're in the middle of one currently right now. I don't know if that's the story you want to share, but is there a story that you had that, you know, you're able to use fitness to kind of overcome a, you know, this downtime or a setback or whatnot?
Yeah, I think fitness is mental health. Like fitness, when you have mind, body, and soul, like I feel like they all work together like synergistically. Like you have to have your body together, have your mind together. People that don't have their body together tend to have things off in their mind, like whether it be confidence, whether it be confidence is a big one. Shit, like when your body is together and you work to get your body there,
no one can tell you nothing.
Huh?
Nobody
can tell you shit. Like all these points in my story where I talk about like, man, I was broke as fuck. When I would pass my reflection and I see, I was like, yeah, things aren't too bad. Like, because I had my body together. Like, so I feel like that's always a positive takeaway. And it's aesthetic. And it's, people always say that that's vanity, but hey, it's for real. Like when you look good, you feel good. So when you look good with fitness, it's a product of work that you put in. So like, how hard am I willing to work? How much am I willing to sacrifice on the dietary side? Like, how much time will I dedicate to this one thing that we all come in the world with? And that's it. Like, how much importance am I going to put on my temple? And man, I think that's everything. Like working out as a metaphor for anything that you want in life. Like I said, I started off as a skinny guy. I just got on the road to being a bigger guy. And I finally ended up there. Like I just kept going. I applied that to everything that I have going on in life, whether it's business things, whether it's things I want to learn. Hey, bro, how much time are you willing to dedicate this? Like, how uncomfortable are you willing to get to your destination? Fitness is my metaphor for life. Like, you mentioned like what I got going on. This fucking shit. A bicep curl that I do. I've done it a million times, and it was just like a freak accident. My bicep tendon snapped. I was on vacation when this happened. I was on vacation with my homeboys right before the quarantine happened, and this happened on day 2 of a 4-day vacation. If you talk to any of them, it didn't break my spirit at all, because it's kind of like, all right, well, I don't have my right arm, still got the left one, still got 2 legs to work on. It gives me time to reallocate to other body parts that I may have wanted to put attention into. So lately, I've been really excited about doing legs for the first time ever. Like I I would force myself to do legs once a week. But now with this injury, I look forward to doing legs. So it's a blessing to have 3 other limbs, you know what I mean, to work out. And that's just what working out is about. You give me all the way down to one factor, I'm gonna work the shit out of it. Like I'm going to build whatever I can build. Like it's nothing to be down about. Fitness help you reframe shit, like, and just be like, yeah. Because you see, along this road, I've met people with far worse injuries than this because of working out. Some that's just like working through crazy injuries, and some that come back from crazy injuries. It's a community of, I could do that. Like that's what fitness is a big community of people that's just like, such and such did, I can do that. Great. Like we're workers.
So you have a torn bicep tendon.
Yes.
You had a bicep button surgery.
So bicep reattachment surgery.
Okay, so like I had the same surgery. I torn the tendon on my bicep, so it snapped up. But I did it actually hooping.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a freak accident too. Like typical stuff.
It was a distal tear.
Yeah, full tear.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's same shit.
It ripped through. It ripped off the bone. So they have surgery. They have to drill through the bone, put a titanium, little plate and screw in there, tie it back to the bone there. But yeah, it's crazy because like, wow, now this happened. It's been in like 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And I used to just crank out pull-ups like crazy. And now, I didn't do therapy like I probably should have, but like everything's fine in a normal world. But when it comes to working out, I notice I fatigue a little bit quicker, especially on my left arm or left hand, just because, sometimes I feel it pull almost in a sense, even though it's still fine. And I think that's more so mentally me just trusting that, because it's like I used to, man, one set 20, I got it. Now it's like I do 21 set. The next set I might hit 5. you know. So, yeah, it's crazy to see that, because that was my first honestly major injury to where I had to get surgery. So it's interesting to see that was a similar surgery that you had.
How did you feel like after you got it? Like what things were you going through? What type of mental process did you go through?
Man, so whenever it happened, it was crazy because like whenever it snapped, like I didn't feel like real pain, like a sharp pain. It was just, it happened. I thought I sprained something. Like I still continued to hoop for like 5 minutes until I tried to pass the ball and it went that way. But I kind of took it on the chin. I was like, all right, this is going to be a good story, kind of like a comeback story, because at the time, I had a whole bunch of stuff going on. Like I was in the middle of rehabbing a home and, just got screwed over by a contractor, just broke up with my girlfriend. Like literally when I had surgery, the weekend after, I broke up with my girlfriend and my ex at the time. So it was just like everything was happening at one time. And I was just like, even though this would technically be, what would be considered though, one of the worst times of my life, I was just like, man, this is going to be a good comeback story for whenever everything's good again. So, I was able to get through it. It was crazy because they gave you like the hydrocodone and stuff like that. Man, that thing ain't working. All I did was make me lousy.
I was careful not to use mine, like, because with this quarantine stuff, like I was just like, man, after the surgery, it was uncomfortable, but it was just like it didn't hurt. Like I think I took the hydrocodone like one day. Like I took it because they said did they give you the nerve block?
I don't think so, because like I said, I still felt that.
Yeah. They gave me this shit called, and I had never heard of this before, but they gave it a nerve block. So they did something to my nerve where I literally couldn't feel shit, like in my arm, for about 24 hours. See, fuck that.
That's why I didn't
want it. Yeah, like that helped a lot. So I didn't have to take the hydrocodone. But that night I took it because it was just like, you're going to wake up, you're going to be in pain because it's going to start to wear out. But other than that, like it was more so uncomfortable. But I do, like when you said pull-ups, earlier that day, because we were in Mexico when this happened, earlier that day, I was doing, showing off, like doing one arm, like pull-ups. And I think that's what compromised it.
Right.
So after having this injury, fuck pull-ups. Like I'm not I'm not doing regular pull-ups. Like and I think that's a good thing. That's hard lessons learned, right? Like now, because I'd already kind of got away from like pride lifting, like trying to lift the most shit in the gym. Like as I've gotten older, I got away from that because I would see people hurt themselves doing that. So it's been more about like good weight, like, but not the most impressive weight, and more volume, more reps, trying to work with more comfortable weight. But now I've learned a lesson about, man, like really being careful, because this was just a one bicep curl. Like I picked it up, I saw guys picking up that barbell with two hands, and I was just like, I'm A-roll. I'm finna grab this shit with one arm and beast that and fuck myself up. So now, like, that's a valuable lesson. Like, look, I won't do that no more. Thank you, universe. Like, it's a hard lesson, but it was a necessary one, because things could always be worse, bro. Like, I always look at it like shit could be worse. So it's a blessing. Is just one arm. I'm almost fucking ambidextrous now, because I can use this left hand like you can't believe. Like, it's crazy. So
yeah, that's awesome. So with the whole coronavirus, like how did that affect your business? Did you have to pivot in a sense, or like how are you navigating now due to all this stuff going on?
Well, I had already started positioning for whatever reason for the past 2 years. Like, online training has been something I've been working on, and it was a trial and error type of thing, like getting people engaged with like a virtual type of like fitness. It's hard, like, because like you were saying earlier, like some people need people right there, like to like help them, to like hold them accountable. So online training was something that was just a real shaky ass boat, like in the beginning. But some kept telling me to keep going to the working out and having that mindset, kept saying like, okay, let's keep revisiting online training. By the time Corona hit, online training was not half of my business, but it was about a good 25%. Like, of my business, I built it up, like, because online training for me didn't used to be shit. So when all of this hit, I had like my online trainer revenue coming in, so I had that top spinning. And then as far as my training, and I used to kick myself in the ass about it, but it's always been one-on-one. That's why I call it boutique online, or boutique personal training. And my space is just me and my client, you know what I mean? So as far as social distancing go, I didn't have to go through the process of like, well, I got 10 people in here, I got to shut it down. It's one-on-one, so it's no different than going to somebody's house, and just working out at their garage gym. So it didn't impact me much at all. I didn't lose a lot of business. I've been blessed to say that, and it didn't impact me like as much as it's impacted a lot of my other brothers and sisters that's in fitness. And I'll be glad when they can get back open and back to what they're doing with like the group training, because I definitely have so far dodged the bullet, with that one.
Yeah, it seemed like, because I was just scrolling, it seemed like you were able to, in a sense, pivot, because I saw you had a quarantine workout plan that, you was able to kind of shift over and had a nice marketing commercial to kind of promote that. So now I'm glad to hear that, you've been able to kind of like power through this and still be able to help people stay healthy. And, because right now there is a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people unfortunately aren't able to really experience life as it once was. So to be able to still do that, and you still be able to financially help your family is very, very good thing to hear. So with that, what do you think is next for you? What is it, another competition? Like, you transition into something else? Like, what's next for Arrow?
On the competition side of things, I'm definitely going to get back into competing. But the next time I compete, I'll be doing classic physique. I turned pro as just physique. And physique is like when we wear long shorts. Like, we wear long, like, board shorts. Bodybuilders, they wear the bodybuilder whatever you want to call it, like things. But then you have like classic physique. Classic physique, they wear like trunks, so they're judged on their legs. Like what I'm in the category I do, they just judge your upper body. Bodybuilding, naturally they judge everything. And then in classic physique, they judge your legs and your torso and your arms. Like it's more body is shown. So I'm going to be transitioning into that over the next few years. And that's something that, like with fitness, I think about it like I don't overestimate what I could do in a short period of time. Now I'm fucking that up. Yeah, people overestimate what they could do in a short period of time and underestimate what they could do in a long period of time. I have like a 3-year goal for my legs. So I'm 34, like by 36, 37, that's when I think my legs will be ready, like for the stage. You know what I mean? With all the stuff that's out there with fitness, people think that they can transform their body in 30 days or transform their body in 60 days. Nah. If the professionals are looking at it like this is a 3-year journey from me getting from where I'm at right now to like what I see myself being, if we could get rid of like a lot of the bullshit in fitness, like that's out there about helping people and making it like a 30-day thing, like crazy transformation, and people will be more realistic about what they can do over time. So as far as competitions go, that's what I'll be doing. I'm pushing the quarantine home workout. With the quarantine home workout, what it is for somebody that can't work out on their own. Like they can't just get up and just be like, all right, today I'm doing 15 squats. So this is something that I put together for somebody who's already on their phone. They can look on their phone. I already pre-scheduled every workout changes. They just press start and they get done what they can get done in 30 minutes. And if they only do that, that will put them in a better spot than being completely sedentary and not doing shit throughout this quarantine thing, and get them ready to transition to the gym whenever we out of this shit. So I'm working on that. I'm trying to make that better. I have an app that I deliver that program through. Okay. And then just growing and becoming a better trainer for my clients, helping people see what they want to see in the mirror. Like that's just always the progression, and wherever it takes me, that's where I'm going to go.
Awesome. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on once again. Let the people know where they can find you.
Okay. And thanks for having me, bro. They can find me primarily on Instagram at AroPerFit, AroPerFit. I got a logo change that's coming up, so I'm gonna try to roll out a plan so I don't completely so people know it's still me. But yeah, I'm changing. I'm doing some things with my branding and stuff right now. But yeah, primarily on Instagram at AroPerFit.
Awesome. Yeah, make sure y'all check out his quarantine workout videos, and if y'all looking for a personal trainer that's certified, that doesn't feed you all the bullshit. Arrow's your guy. So yeah, this concludes episode 2 of the Phēnyx Lounge. Once again, I'm your host, Money Madu. If y'all have found any of this helpful, make sure you share these with your friends. Make sure you follow the YouTube channel, and we are putting this also on podcast. So make sure that y'all stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next week with episode 3.